Hi friends, I'm here with the Illuminate Shawl. I have worked up to round 50, so I have the 216 stitches on my needle at this point, and I've knit the first stitch of the next round. So here's my beginning of round marker. I've worked one stitch. I've got my cord here, my stitch holder cord, and I'm going to slide the stitches, half of the stitches of the shawl onto that cord so that I can work the other half up. Alrighty, so yeah, we're ready to split the shawl. So what I'm going to do to slide these stitches onto the cord is very carefully slide the tip of my needle onto or into the little hole on the tube right here. Okay, then I'm going to slide carefully the stitches onto the cord. So I'm sliding half of my stitches. I'm sliding these stitches here, until I get to my second marker. So I'm sliding two groups of stitches onto the cord. So I think this is it. Let's see. Half of the stitches would be two of the quadrants. So I've got the fourth quadrant of my square here, the fourth side of my square, and the third side of my square here. So what I'm doing is I'm leaving, I just took this off. I took the cord off of the tip of the needle, and I'm leaving half of the shawl on my needle. So I'm going to tie this cord so I don't lose my stitches. I still have stitch markers on here marking the edges and the corners where I'm going to continue working this point. But now I will be working, so you can see I've got this awesome square started here. I'm going to be working out this side of the shawl, going in this direction on this half of the stitches. So let's get that started together, shall we? All right, the first instruction when we begin row 1 of the portion of the pattern that's after the split, you're going to reattach main color, and using the knit cast on, we're going to cast on 3 stitches. So for the knit cast on, what you're going to do is knit the stitch that's on the left hand needle using your new yarn, but do not take it off of the left hand needle. Then I'm going to bring my left needle forward and slide up and into that first stitch that I knit. I'm going to repeat that now, building off of the stitch that's on the left hand needle, the new stitch. So I still have the last stitch, the one that I would have knit next had I still been working in the round, and I have one new one. So I'm going to go into the new stitch, wrap my yarn for knit, bring that new stitch out onto the right hand needle, or my second new stitch. Then I'm going to bring my left hand needle forward, slide up the new stitch, and there we have another new stitch. And I'm going to repeat that again. So I'm going into the topmost stitch on the left hand needle, wrapping my yarn around for knit and bringing it through that topmost stitch, but leaving that topmost stitch still on the left hand needle. Bring my left hand needle forward so that I can come up the stitch that's on the right hand needle to twist it onto the left hand needle. So now I have 3 stitches here that I've cast on, and this stitch here, even though it looks like it's part of this group, actually was the last stitch still belonging to the shawl. So even though it looks like I have 4 here, really this stitch, the 4th stitch, is part of the shawl. It just kind of scoots over to join these guys because it's been pulled by them. So really I have 1, 2, 3 stitches cast on here. All right, so once we've cast on the 3, we're going to work knit 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 2 together. So the knit 2 together is going to help shape our bias shape shawl, our sort of large chevron. Then we're going to knit to the marker. So this piece should feel familiar from what you worked in the round. Okay, here we are at the marker. I'm going to knit until I get to the marker, work a yarn over, slip the marker, knit 1, work a yarn over. So that's just like what we were doing for the beginning rather of the shawl. That's the same instruction. Now we're knitting to the end of the row, to the last 2 stitches. Okay, here we are. We're approaching the last 2 stitches. We're going to work a slip, slip, knit. So you slip the 2 stitches knitwise, one at a time, Insert your left hand needle into the fronts of the 2 stitches and work them together. Slip, slip, knit. Then we're going to turn the work around. And again, using that knitted cast on, we're going to cast on 3 here. So using the stitch that's at the top of the left needle, I'm going to knit 1, but don't take the stitch off the left needle. Bring the left needle forward and put the new stitch on. This is our new topmost stitch. I'm going to knit into that without taking it off of the needle, and then slide the new stitch on. So that was 2, and then here is 3. Beautiful. Now we're going to purl to 2 stitches before the marker, work our stitch through the back loop. All right, here we are, a couple stitches before the marker. We're going to purl until we get to 2 stitches before the marker, and then we're going to purl the yarn over through the back loop. So it's very similar to what we were doing when we were knitting through the back loop, except here we're going to be purling. So our yarn is in the front, and our right hand needle is actually going to go up and behind, like behind the stitch and up into it, and then we're going to purl. And that twists the yarn over closed. So I'll show you that on the other side as well, and I'll show you in English style. So yarn is in the front, my needle comes behind the work but also pointing up, and we're going to go up into the back leg of that yarn over, and you can see right there how it twists the stitch, and then I'm going to purl the stitch, and that twists it closed. So once you've twisted it closed, you're going to purl to the end of the row.